Pokemon Go has taken the world by storm in just a few short weeks. It is nearly impossible to go outside and not see at least a few people hunting for Pokemon. I mean, it's like my childhood dreams have come true. But with that said, all the Pokemon Go hype has got me thinking lately. Where does this game fit in with the others in the Pokemon timeline? Well, thanks to a Twitter user that goes by the handle of Ink Virtue, we may have an answer. First, let's take a quick look back at what we already know about the Pokemon timeline from the lore in the games themselves. So the events of the first gen games Red, Blue, and Yellow are actually taking place at the exact same time as the events of Gen 3, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, just in a different region on the planet. Then, 3 years after those events, the events of Gold, Silver, and Crystal take place at the exact same time that Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum take place in a different region yet again. Then, 11 years after that come Black and White, followed 2 years later by Black and White 2, and finally the events of Gen 6, X, and Y followed. So where does that mean that Pokemon Go fits in this timeline? Well, according to this theory, Pokemon Go happens before all previous generations, so it's the very first one in the timeline. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the evidence. First off, not all 151 original first generation Pokemon are present in the game. We all know that Professor Oak would years later be the first person to create a Pokedex containing all the Pokemon in the Kanto region, but they are not present as of yet in Pokemon Go. Also, just like in the Safari Zone, when you encounter creatures in the street, trainers only throw the recently invented Pokeball and try to capture monsters without battling and weakening their opponents first. This happens because the concept of strategic battles were not invented at this time. There are no experienced trainers in this universe yet. And because those concepts of strategic battles were not invented, trainers still did not know how to teach their Pokemon new moves. Also, trainers did not know how to use battles to rise the level of Pokemon, so they used candies instead. These candies, however, were eventually overused, and in the future, by the time that Red, Blue, and Yellow takes place, they are very, very rare to find, hence why they're now called rare candies, and that's why they're hard to find, and that's why it's still used to raise Pokemon's level in every generation of Pokemon that we know. Also, it's worth pointing out that the traditional fixed gym leader system has not been invented yet, as the structure of the Pokemon League has not been established. That is why the gym leaders change so often, and there are no gym badges given out in Pokemon Go. Also, another thing worth noting is trades do not happen because the huge machines that are needed to make Pokemon respect another new trainer were not invented yet. They had not done enough studies at this time to figure out how to do that. But what happens to Professor Willow? Why do we never hear from him again in the future? Well, there's an answer for this as well. We may actually see him in a game later on in the timeline. We have met another trainer who was originally called Willow, and we learned of this in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. It's the gym leader Price. Price's middle name is revealed as Willow in Heart Gold, Soul Silver when he says, quote, "Willow is my middle name. Willow is flexible and not easily broken, and I'm not going to give up yet." Also, if we take a look at a side-by-side image of the two, they do look very similar, and it looks like the version of him that is a gym leader could be an older version of Professor Willow. So all the pieces seem to fall into place and point to the fact that Pokemon Go is actually the first game in the Pokemon timeline, taking place before even the events of Red, Blue, and Yellow games, which is actually a pretty cool way of thinking about it. But that's all I have for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to hit that like button. Let's try to get this video to 500 likes. I really appreciate if you guys could do that. And if this is your first time on the channel, feel free to subscribe for more theory videos in your sub box weekly. Also, make sure to check out some of my previous Pokemon theories, including one I did on Pokemon Go and how the government may be using it to spy on you via your phone. Very creepy one. But until next time, guys, remember that's always KMAC time somewhere. Take it easy and peace out.